Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm sorry. Tardy is not the way to be in 2024, but it's busy. All right. What do we do when the fire alarm goes off? All right, great. All right, so we've got some introductions to do. For those that have not met me, and I see a couple of new faces, I am Michelle Grimolia, the president and CEO here at Woodland Pond. And I've got some new faces to introduce you to. We are going to start with Philip. Why don't you introduce yourself and then introduce your friend? One friend.
I don't have any friends. Everyone knows that. My name is Philip Mail. I am the director of long-term care, which means I run the health center with a lot of help from a lot of good people. And along those lines, I am so pleased to introduce to you. She's been here how long now? A little over 3 months, but she is our brandy new director of nursing, and that's for the entire health center, skilled nursing and assisted living. Um, she comes to us with an abundance of experience in being a charge nurse and being a DON, really extensive clinical skills. And I can tell you in the 3 months that she's been here, we have hit the ground running. Deb is a real go-getter. You will not find someone more dedicated, who cares more, has a better work ethic. We have already started to move the needle on some things that frankly were sounding intractable to me as I get crotchety and cynical in my ears. But we're already making some great progress. So I think, oh, Deborah Vining is her name, or Debbie, or Deb, all acceptable. There, see, and easy to get along with. So yes, I am very pleased to introduce her. Her office is in the same office suite as mine, behind the reception desk at the health center. So if anyone would like to stop in, say hi, please feel free to do so. Debbie, would you like to say a couple words? I tried to shield you, but Michelle.
Michelle, what do I love best about Woodland Ponds? I'm going to say everything. I worked in several nursing homes, and this by far is the best place I've ever worked. It, and I'm not just saying that, I truly do. When I wake up in the morning, I love coming here. There's never a day that I don't want to be here. I truly love it. Between the staff, the residents, everything. From all these guys, everybody's so welcoming. I have nothing bad to say about Woodland Ponds. I absolutely love it here, and I'm hoping to be here for a very, very long time, as long as these two allow it. Yeah.
I just have one more thing I would like to plug. Sue Close, our activity director, some of you may have met her. She has done an extraordinary job in putting together a health center calendar. The calendar consists on each month of an art project and a biographical highlighting of a resident. They are really professionally done. They look great. They're for sale at the reception desk. I've suggested to Sue to bring some over here. $10, it goes to the Alzheimer's Association. So it's purely for that group. But the calendars are really exceptional. Helen Cherry is our January girl, just to give you an idea. But there's 11 more. So I do encourage you, if you stop by the health center, and hopefully very soon we'll have them here, it's a worthy cause, and you'll learn something about your neighbors. So.
They are beautiful calendars. And just also a sneak peek, she is doing singing telegrams for Valentine's Day, also as a fundraiser, which is such a great idea. So you can purchase, I think they're $2 or $3, and they're going to be available in independent living and in the health center. So more information to come on that. She has got such great ideas. We should introduce her at the next management Q&A. So bring another friend next month.
I'm making friends by the month.
Look at this. The year of friends in 2024. All right, the next person that's going to introduce a friend is Amy. Amy, would you like to introduce a friend?
Wait, anyone who doesn't know, I am Amy.
Well, use the mic.
I don't really have to. Let's keep it real. Okay.
I'm Amy McIntyre, the director of dining, and I am so excited for my friend. She's going to make my life amazing. So, only a weekend, so let's be kind. I have Faith Lewis. She is our new health center dining room manager. This is a position that we've never had before. She's mirroring the idea of a Tanya in IL, but she's going to be looking over all 3 of our dining rooms in the health center. So assisted living, skilled nursing, and memory care. It's an amazing opportunity. She's going to be here on the weekend. She's going to be here through dinner time, so that just like you all have a manager on that you can go to in real time, so will they. And that's outstanding. All right. So Faith Lewis. You want me to come up? Sorry for you.
Seriously put on the spot.
All right. So
Is it on? Yep.
Jason turned it down a little because Amy was screaming.
Yeah, that's very loud.
I know. So we'll bring it back up to normal human sound. Faith, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you like best about Woodland Pond 1 week in? Go ahead.
Okay. I'm 1 week in. My name's Faith Lewis. Okay. I've worked in the restaurant industry pretty much since I was able to work. Owned a restaurant in Hyde Park, worked over at Vassar for a little while. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to meet everyone. I'm excited to work with all these wonderful people. And I'll have more information the next meeting, perhaps. Thank you.
Excited to have you. So welcome. All right. So you're welcome to say or go, but Amy, why don't you go ahead and give us dining updates while you're up? Yeah. Well, don't talk too long.
See, they turned it down because of me. When I was a little girl, I had inner ear infections, and so I can't hear how loud I am. So shame on you. Okay, here we go. The next Getting to Know Your Neighbor is January 24th. I hope that everyone at this point has been involved. It's so much fun. I may have told someone today that I'm going to make peach cobbler. Yes, I haven't done it since the first one that we did, but I may have said that out loud. So on January 24th, please make reservations for the Getting to Know Your Neighbor. I think it's really exciting when couples split up and they go their separate ways. You eat with the same people all the time. It's so fun to meet all of our new neighbors. I have a request from some of our new wait staff is name tags. Please wear your badges at dinner. They have to put each of your names in the computers. It's really important. So every time they're at your table, if you get a new server, it's so much easier for them to look at your badge. I know that a few people didn't feel like they needed to wear their badge, but I'm pretty sure that that's a thing. So at dinner, please wear your badges. I have exciting news. We have our first official CIA intern in our kitchen right now. Yes, she started on January 7th. Her name is Alexis. She loves it here. So that's great. That being said.
Is she actually here right now?
Yeah, right now.
Can you go get her when we're done?
Will you go get her?
Thank you.
So yeah, she is here. I was just going to tell you that I have every intention in having her do action stations at dinner with Jared. So we're excited because I want you guys to all get to meet her. So when I say action station at dinner is that she'll come out to the dining room and let's say pasta's on the menu. She'll be doing all the pasta in front of you just to have some fun. Listen, 2024 dining has a lot of great things coming. We have another student who I interviewed, and I believe she'll be starting in April. So this is when the CIA students have to do their externship. Woodland Pond is now on their list. This was our first official student, and now we have a second student. Because the idea of what we do, it's work-life balance. We can have a dining room / restaurant where we can make amazing food. We use all fresh produce, fresh meat. You all know that. So you can cook at a culinary level, but also be home with your family. And that's a big deal here at Woodland Pond.
Amy, are we still doing kitchen tours?
Oh, it's on my list, Michelle.
Oh.
So, ooh, come on in.
Hey, come on
All
in.
right. So I just mentioned, hi, it's all right. I'll hold you so you're not so nervous. This is our first official. This is our independent living. They all have been eating your food that you've been preparing for them since what, January 7th?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
All right. Just tell them who you are and what do you think about Woodland Pond?
So my name's Alexis Warden. I am a student at the Culinary Institute of America, and I'm here to do my externship for school. It's for 3 months, and I'm just here to work. Woodland Pond, I love all the people. Everybody treats me so amazing. They're really sweet. They're patient with me. Yeah.
Good environment.
Yeah, very good environment. Very good environment.
Right.
Different from different other kitchens that I've been in. Very nice.
Derek's a good guy, right? Yep. And when do you graduate?
I graduate in April.
Yeah. So after she's done with us, she makes decisions. Maybe we can keep her on. We'll talk about it. No pressure. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a wonderful work environment in there. We're like a family in that kitchen. We fight like a family, but we're definitely a family. Just so anyone's seeing, because you guys are very nosy in a really great way, we are adding tables to the dining room. So the idea is that we can expand some of our seating. I have a meeting with Michelle, so to be continued. The idea is that we can get more and more reservations. As we grow as a community, our dining room needs to grow as a community. And our last thing is kitchen tour. We have a kitchen court tour. They've resumed in the new year, and the first one is this Friday at 11 a.m. They're coming, right? Already first one official. He had already had an unofficial kitchen tour the day that we shut down the whole building, and we're in the dark, and he's going through all of my stuff. So he'd like to have an official one this time. But please, everyone is welcome. And it's really important that you come and see the cleanliness of our kitchen, all of our fresh produce. I want you to see the brand names. I want you to see the magic. You can be watching the cooks. I mean, then you can ask as many questions as you need to make yourself feel even better about the program that we are currently running at Woodland Pond. All right, any questions for me?
What kind of cold cuts do we use?
Oh, we'll talk about it, yeah.
What kind of cold cuts do we use?
Boar's Head.
How many flavors of ice cream do we have?
Currently in IL 13.
And will I see those on the tour?
Yes, you will if you want to, because you're going to see them in the cooler. We have Gillette Creamery. We have a local ice cream, Perry's. Baldor is our produce company. It's all local and fresh. Boar's Head comes in once a week. Most of our products are name brand. If you go into the kitchen, turn me down a little, Jason, because I got someone covering their ears. Can you turn me down a little? Yeah, but it's distracting for me. We do a mix. So we do a lot of on-property baking, and then we buy some products. There's certain products that we buy, and there's certain products that we do Rockland Bakery. So a majority of our baked goods come through Rockland Bakery. If you see the red, like muffins in the morning, if they have the red sleeves on them, we've made them. I usually make them on Monday mornings. But if not, the rest is from Rockland. So, and like some of our specialty desserts, like we've been doing those black and white cookies, that's from Rockland Bakery. Some of the special Jewish desserts that we brought in, I wasn't going to try to make a jelly donut. And the arugula that we had was outstanding. So those items we bring in from Rockland. The mousse cake was outstanding too, and we buy that. So some things we buy, and then sometimes Amy bakes. Oh, the wine tasting. So let's talk about it. I made a phone call to our wine purveyor Southern, and I wanted to know where my sales guy was because he doesn't visit us. And you guys drink enough wine for him to visit us. So I found out he actually had renal failure. Find that funny. So that being said, he's not. So I've requested a new gentleman to come. I've gotten Tanya involved, and the idea is he's going to come in and give us a whole new line of wine, not to get rid of the wines that we currently have, but so that we can start doing wine tastings and bring in new kinds, and then bring specialty wines, keep our wine list the same, but maybe have a higher end or a different wine by the glass so that you guys can enjoy. We talked about this the other day. So the gentleman from Southern, a call is out, and we're going to have an appointment with him within the next week or two. I didn't know why no one ever came to see us, and now I know. But we're definitely, wine tastings are going to be back. We'll do local wines, but why not just do any kind of wine that they're willing to bring in? And then I'll do specialty wines, like we do market specials when the chefs want to show off. Well, we can let the wine company show off and give us some more expensive glasses, wines by the glass.
All right. Amy?
Yep. Yes.
Satisfy my curiosity, please. What was the thinking behind completely rejiggering the numbering of the tables in the main dining room?
Because we're adding tables in.
Okay.
So in the IL dining room, we actually have a couple more tables that have to come in.
Okay.
So we took a round table from from AL, and we replaced it with a smaller table for the needs of AL. And now we have 3 tables. I believe Rob got one of them. Yeah, we have 1 downstairs and 2 are being worked on. So we're trying to fit more tables, and obviously you can't keep the same number schemes. So, I mean, it's just to mess with you, Lair.
Okay, I've got Ann Gordon, and then I'll take one more, and then we're going to move on to someone else.
Okay.
I just want to give you my appreciation to the fact that it seems that they're using a lot less salt in the kitchen, and I can tell, and I'm very thankful. Thank you.
Yes, I'll keep in mind that a lot of our recipes are mindful recipes, and that we have recipe books in the kitchens, and all of our recipes are senior based. And even okay, so for the soup today, I had it and I loved it. It's a low sodium base, but I did hear that a couple sent it back at the bistro and said it was too salty. Well, I personally had it for lunch and loved it. But these soups are made with low sodium bases. And all of our recipes that we use are from a senior living recipe book. So nothing should be high in salt content, but we definitely are aware and make sure that we take the right, measures. Yes. What do you mean, like a Mrs. Dash? Because there's not a low sodium salt. And that's well, there is, but you have to ask yourself what else they put in there to make it a low sodium salt. Because it's not a natural product. So I'm worried about that. Just for me, I've learned a lot. I mean, I could ask my dietitian about that. But guys, anytime fat is taken out of something or salt now becomes low salt, you have to ask yourself what they're adding to make this product. Because it's no longer, there's no natural low salt product, or there's no natural low salt. So I want you guys to have natural, fresh ingredients, not something that's man-made, because that scares me a little.
All right, and we're going to move on to the next person who's going to bring a friend. Tom, do you want to bring Rob, or Rob, do you want to bring Tom?
Because they're the only friends they have.
I'll go first. You can go second. Hi, everyone. I'm Robert Dunn, Director of Environmental Services. A couple of things I wanted to touch on. Carrie wanted me to remind people, if you do need to cancel your housekeeping, try and do it 24 hours ahead of time. All right, there is a charge if you do it that same day, unless, there's a medical emergency or something. But try and let us know ahead of time if you need to cancel that. Just give us a call down in the office. Okay. We've also talked about, we will be putting some new signs up, right, in the beginning of the year in the garbage rooms, which will have some pictures and stuff. So hopefully that'll be a little bit easier to discern for people as to what goes where. So we will be doing that, I think, in the next few weeks. Once I get the drawings, we can start printing them out and putting them in the garbage room. So a lot of work went into that, with the sustainability committee, and Martin's, artwork is, kind of key to that. So we appreciate that. Any questions for me? All right, I'll bring up my friend Tommy. Thanks.
Oh, Tommy.
Thanks, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby.
I'm Tom Tango, Director of Plant Operations. A couple things. A lot of changes. Next month, I'll be able to bring introduce some people. A lot of changes in maintenance. First, we have 2 brand new maintenance techs, one on the evening and one day. They just started 2 weeks ago. John works nights now along with the other John. So I have 2 Johns at night. It makes Lisa's life easy. She just calls John. And I have a new maintenance guy, Chris, started already during the day. The last few weeks in maintenance, I have gone many days with 4 and 5 guys calling out. Where there has just been the flu going through maintenance. Like right today, I have like 3 guys out. So we're getting past that. So it'll be good. Also, we hired a new maintenance coordinator, gentleman, Eric, and I'll introduce him to you next meeting. He'll be joining us a week from Monday. That'll be good. He comes to us with a lot of experience doing exactly what we need done in our exact type setting almost. And that'll be great. Also, we have a brand new position starting this Monday that we've never had, a mechanical coordinator. Nothing, what a lot of my day is spent adjusting temperatures, a degree here and a degree there. But David will be starting as mechanical coordinator, and his role will be to own all the mechanical issues in the complex, HVAC, some plumbing, things like that. And he also comes to us with a great deal of experience. And by having him here, we'll be able to save money by not calling in people as much, but even better than that, we'll be able to respond quicker, provide better preventative maintenance on the equipment we have, and hopefully reduce downtime of a lot of equipment. A lot of times I'll say to you, like, the art studio had no heat for a while. This room had heat for the last 2 nights, and we just got it back today. So hopefully by having somebody in-house with a great deal of knowledge and experience in HVAC matters, we'll be able to reduce those in addition to saving money. So that's going to be a whole new position that we haven't had. Johnny, we have currently our HVAC tech. Johnny is great, but Johnny doesn't have a lot of experience. So, and it was funny when I told Johnny that that we had this position coming and that I hired somebody. I was in my office and I explained to him like that I hired somebody, and he looked at me and he goes, "Oh, that's great. I'll have somebody good to talk to." And then he goes, I didn't mean. I was like, "No, I know what you mean, Johnny. Like, you'll have somebody that actually knows HVAC." So he's very eager to have somebody on staff that he can talk to that has a great deal of experience and knowledge. So I think going forward, that's going to help us a lot in HVAC type stuff. So between that, having the maintenance coordinator staffed again, and having a full maintenance staff, which is something we haven't had in a while, the next few months is going to be pretty exciting time down in maintenance world. It'll be a lot of work getting those two people, hitting the ground running. The only thing I want to say before I open questions also is a lot of issues this morning came in about the cars not being cleaned off. The cars were cleaned off last night, but then over the night there was little dusting on them. Little dusting doesn't trip the contractor to come clean the cars. He cleans the cars once the snow is done. Little dusting that he didn't even plow for, he's not coming back for that. So yeah, we will do that. But this morning I was getting calls from people that were saying that, making it sound like the car was under 6 inches of snow. And that wasn't what was on the cars this morning. It was just a little dusting. But, clarity hindsight, I should have sent somebody out and cleaned them off right away anyway. But going forward, just like you did this morning, if you have an issue, call us and we'll get there. With that, questions?
I will be giving an update on the expansion. So if it's expansion related, hold it for me, please.
Can the excess salt by the doorways, the entrances and exits be swept away? Yesterday, yes. My dog, Ina's dog, and the Carvel's dog, we had to carry them inside because they were limping so badly.
Yes.
And it happened to my dog this morning again.
All right, a couple things. The issue came up about, and it comes up often, about what product we use and how it affects dogs. Just like it comes up often about pesticides and fertilizer and being green. And in the email chain that was going around yesterday, what I wrote back is anybody that has concerns, I welcome them. I would encourage them to talk to the Plan Ops Committee, come and talk to us about it. And Woodland Pond, myself, 100%, if there is a better product to use, we would be very willing to explore it. But there's a lot of issues that go into every product. So in other words, like when we look at, in the past few years, when we've looked at a greener fertilizer, but they cost a lot more. They're not effective as, as the other product is. So we choose to not use them. But if somebody finds something that is great, we would do so. Same thing with the salt and the non-slip. There are products that are marketed as pet safe, but then how much is it going to cost to get the contractor to spread that product? Is that product as good as the present product? We'd have to do a lot of research. So I'm not in any way saying, no, we can't look into it. But without a doubt, the primary concern about what we use is it the safest? And just like when we put the salt or the stuff down, at times, do they get a little carried away and put down too much? Yes. But I'd rather that than put down too little. So we're always going to err on the side of being safer. Without a doubt, there are times when we can and we should do better, sweep the salt away from the doors as soon as it happens. But, that goes into at the very time we should be doing that, depending upon what our workload is, we're very busy, but we can and should get to that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know.
In that case, is it possible to have an area, maybe a grass patch shoveled and no salt laid? Then we know we can take the dog there.
And that's something that I wouldn't say yes or no to that right now. And that's something that we could discuss in the Plan Ops Committee, because I mean, right off the top of my head, what you're asking for is an area to slip and slide in. But I mean, come to the committee and we can discuss that. Because we did come up with a solution that makes most people happy about the pesticide. Maybe we can come up with another solution. I don't know, but come to the committee and we can talk about it.
I'm going to go to Rhea and then Annette, and then we'll go on to the next person.
Just wanted to say that they have done, not that we've had a lot of snow, but they have done an exemplary job of cleaning off by the cottages. I mean, sometimes, they don't do the driveways. It's hard to get the cars out. They did a great job. And as far as the walkways, they put salt, the right amount of salt. So I just wanted you to know that.
Thank you. Yeah, and I agree. They did. The two events we've had so far, they've done good job. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's always going to be, and the first storm of the year is always a little tweaking. Yeah.
I want to thank you too for the wonderful snow cleanup twice now, and also for keeping the pool open as much as you did while they were working on it. I do have one question in addition to the thank yous. The wood over the glass doors.
Yeah, we have to get to that.
Okay, well, it's not the outside contractor then.
No, I wasn't going to pay them to do what we can do. Yeah. And like I say, I wanted to get them in and out so you could get back in the pool. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Bridget, do you have anything today? Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bridget Blum, Director of Human Resources. I just want to say hello. Happy New Year. I know this is our first meeting since the new year. I guess I will report that beginning March 1st or sooner, perhaps, the HR Employment Coordinator position, which is really the recruiting position for the HR department, is going to be a full-time position. It is currently a 0.6 position, which means that it's scheduled 3 days a week or 22.5 hours per week. That is getting increased to full-time, which is going to be great to have someone here 5 days a week. So that's really the only announcement that I have for my department, but certainly welcome any questions that anyone might have. Go ahead. In what regard? In what regard do I know anything about? Right. Michelle, did you want to talk about the IT position? Rhea's asking if, okay, Jason's going to talk about it. Any other questions for me? No? Okay. All right. Well, then I will turn it over to my friend Jason.
Bridget, is yours? To your notes. My name is Jason Irish, Director of Concierge and Communication Services. So I'll talk about that first since we just brought it up. I talked about it 2 meetings ago that Ryan was leaving and he has since left, hopefully to better things. He's applying all over the country, looking for jobs in Hawaii, wherever he can find a job, he's looking, but we wish him the best. To talk about the new position, there are some changes with it. I don't know if most of you know, I know Michelle put out a notification that Tanya is no longer with us either. Tanya was in a role called Chief Information Security Officer. So when she left, we decided to combine the positions, both CISO and RTA, which we have hired. That person was here doing paperwork today. His name is Terrell. He comes with an abundance of experience in security, in IT help desk, in working in a senior environment. He just his experience and his credentials just exceeded anything we were even considering or even thinking about. So we're real excited for that. He's going to do everything that we need for IT internally, for security, and he's going to help with RTA stuff, and he'll be able to divvy out to either myself or Jeffrey or whoever else, like minor things. We're also going to use, I see Ronnie Sue here in the front. We're going to use our resident technology group, Tom Gilder, a few other residents that are on that. We'll be utilizing them more as well for some of the basic things that they can help with. But that addresses that, and Michelle can touch on it more. While we're there, does anyone have any questions about Terrell or that position? I don't know. So in the next, let's say in the next 2 weeks, he'll be starting, and we'll have him here at the next Q&A. I know we're doing a lot of introductions, and while we're on some staff topics.
Wait, hang on a second. I just want to remind everyone, it's going to be really important that everybody make sure that you go to the concierge to make sure that you're getting access to him. That we kind of reconfigured the office area there. We're going to, with Lindsay changing how she's got her job, we're not going to have any walk-ins into that office at all. Everything's got to go through concierge. We're going to do everything through the work order system, especially with the reconfiguration of Tom's department. It just helps us keep things more organized and accountable. It's not because we're trying to be punitive in any way, but the only way that we can track how things are getting done. So if you're saying to us, I'm waiting too long, things aren't getting done, that work order system is the only way we can track that. And the only way we know that is if you do it through concierge, okay? So when we say, please go to concierge first, it's not because we're trying to be mean or nasty. It's because then that way they can put the work order into the work order system. And then I can say, oh, yes, I can see this work order has been sitting out there for 3 days. And it keeps the chaos down in the office. It's just hard with all of us being there, but Terrell's office will be right there next to Jason, and Terrell will report to me, but we're working very closely with Jason also.
Hang on, Halima.
Put in a work order anytime we need computer help?
Yes, you should have been doing that with Ryan too. I don't know if that was happening consistently.
Well, no, Ryan was more accessible. So Ryan's job wasn't necessarily meant to sit at a desk and monitor like our whole IT network, where Terrell is going to have more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, the answer is yes.
Right, responsibility.
If you need help, it needs a work order.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is Ryan was more accessible. So you could catch Ryan in the hallway or catch him at his desk, where Michelle's saying, let's not do that. Let's put in the work order at concierge, where, Halima, your question, if you caught Ryan in the hallway, Ryan would put that work order in himself. So the work orders were still going in, but now we're just saying every work order go through the concierge desk. Mm-hmm. Now still everything should go to concierge, and then it would get filtered to Terrell, and we'll handle it accordingly. Again, this will be a learning experience for us as well, because this is technically a new position. But yeah, concierge first, and then we'll figure it out from there. While we're on staffing, I know Michelle just mentioned it. Everybody knows Lindsay has now moved to Michelle's executive assistant, and we're still recruiting for her position. You've seen, Rebecca was there today, Renee, Mary, Kathleen, Garrett is here on the weekends. But yeah, we're still recruiting for a full-time 7 to 3 at the concierge desk. Hang on, Rhea.
You mentioned Terrell is going to work in security. I assume that has to do with scams as part of it. But I wanted to know whether you want us to report to you or whoever when we get new scams. You want to know about them.
You're going to report that to Terrell.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I have one. Who do I report it to now?
Okay. You can report it to me or Jason now, but you'll report that to Terrell.
Okay. Yes, I'll mention it. It was the U.S. Customs Border Patrol. The U.S. Customs Border Patrol. Oh, no, it was on the phone. And it was when I was in skilled nursing. And he asked me, he said he had a suspicious package at the border in El Paso. And I mean, it went on for a long, long time. And I finally figured out to myself, this guy is good, really good. But I hung up and he never called back. But I thought that was a new one,
So we've been, hang on, Ronnie Sue. So in the last few Chanticleers, we've been putting different scam types, in the Chanticleer for you to see. Rhea just mentioned another. I get a different email every hour of every day saying something different. If you ever have a question or ever wonder like what it is, phone call. If you don't know who it is, hang it up. Don't ever give information over the phone. Don't give anyone access to your computer. Don't give out your social security number. Don't even give your birth date, nothing. Unless you initiate the call to your own doctor, don't give information out. Simple. And on the computer, again, they come in all kinds of ways, and that they try to get the vulnerable. So you just have to be cautious. And if something comes up, like this is a phone scam, so that's different. Terrell doesn't need to know about that.
Oh yeah, he does.
Well,
he's going to handle all the scams.
I know, but that's different. Like if it's a phone scam, hang up. If you're not compromised in any way, I mean, if you're concerned, let us know. But if you just hang up and you give no personal information, all right, fine. Michelle's saying still let us know. But, some things we don't need to know, especially if you squash it.
We need to know.
Okay.
Somehow I need to know because I got to communicate it. Don't listen to Jason. Jason, go on to another topic.
Does anybody ever get like something from Social Security? It was an email saying that your statement's going to go out and then asking all questions. Is that legitimate?
No. They will never email you.
The scam that I sent you last week when Jeffrey got the call from Spectrum. Now, we get Spectrum through Woodland Pond. So I'm assuming if there is any kind of upgrading of equipment or Spectrum, anything about Spectrum, that it would go through Woodland Pond first? It would not.
So Spectrum is a weird one. Spectrum, Woodland Pond. You're hating everything I'm saying? Spectrum, Woodland Pond has our bulk account. With our bulk account, residents get their cable, one cable box, not a DVR box, and they get internet. Whether it's a modem router combo or a modem and a router, they get that provided, and then Woodland Pond will bill the resident for it. We get the bill. Phone service is directly through Spectrum and the resident. Each resident has to create their own account through Spectrum. They have their phone, they have all the equipment on that account, so Spectrum knows whose account it is. Even though they're still billing Woodland Pond through the bulk service, the account still is in your name. If you add anything else to that account, a DVR box, a second box for your living room, a third box for your kitchen, all that is separate, and you'll get a separate bill through Spectrum for that. So any upgrades to your account may not come through Woodland Pond because, again, Woodland Pond is only providing one basic cable box and basic internet service. Anything beyond above that is through Spectrum directly with the resident. So that could be legitimate, but in this case, it wasn't. Because they're not going to reach out to you and say, upgrade your equipment. They won't do that. They're going to wait for you to make that call to initiate it. Any other questions on Spectrum? All right, I'm going to talk about transportation very quickly for the winter, for medicals and for outings. So medicals, just know if it's going to snow or if there's a storm, the chances of us canceling are high, are likely. We don't put residents at risk. We don't put our drivers at risk, vehicles at risk, even for a small little storm. So don't wait for us to initiate changing your appointment or calling you to change your appointment, especially if you know it's coming. You know, this storm the other day, I mean, we canceled. There was a few inches. It snowed all day. The last storm was over a foot. So just be cautious, pay attention to the weather. I know we let people know. Tom will put out a notice. Michelle will put out a notice. But just know if potential storm is coming, to be proactive about your appointments. Outings, we do our best to know ahead of time whether or not to cancel a trip. We also do our best to get credits for the tickets. Residents, if we're canceling a trip because of weather, we're not going to charge the resident the ticket. I know it might say that in the handbook, but that, you know, in most cases that won't happen because we work with the venues and we'll get a credit for the tickets or we'll get refunded the tickets. But just know that especially during the winter months, we do our best to not put anyone at risk in our vehicles during a potential storm. Questions about that? Hang on, Carol.
So if we have a doctor's visit and we're getting a ride from, like me, Friday's supposed to be a snowstorm, should I call my doctor now and cancel or just wait for you? I thought we just waited for you to tell us if the rides were canceled or not, and then
you can. So I'm not sure about the weather on Friday. If we know it's something big, I'd say be proactive. In an instance like Friday, I'll have to look at the weather and wait to hear from us. Usually we'll know at least a day in advance, sometimes two days in advance to let you know to cancel. But if we know a big storm is coming, be proactive.
Snow. It doesn't say how much. Yeah.
Tom usually knows first. Tom's our weatherman. He's also Mr. Plow. Did you know that? Yeah, he's Mr. Plow. Yeah, he's Mr. Plow. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell anyone that, but he is.
Questions about that? No, not about that.
No, that's Rhea, that's a secret. That's why I said it quietly.
The last thing I'll talk about is overnights. So everyone knows, or everyone should know, that if you ever have an issue on the overnight, you can always reach somebody. Someone is always at the reception desk in the health center. If you dial the main number, 845-256-5600, that call will always be answered by somebody, whether it's concierge until 9 or reception until 11 or security on the overnight. Someone is always there. If there's ever a resident that needs to call 911, I know I've said this before, but if you ever have to call 911 yourself, always let the desk know that someone's coming, because we're the ones who have to let them in the building on the overnight. That goes for cottages too. Even though cottages, don't necessarily need to access, we should know if EMS or 911 is called. So call the 5600 number, let somebody know that EMS is on their way. You don't have to give too much information, but just so we're aware and we can let them in and then help in any way we can. Hang on, Carol.
One thing on that too, don't forget, the fastest way for you to get help if you're scared or something's going on and you can't remember the phone number, you don't have your PERS, go into your bathroom and pull that pull cord next to your shower, okay? Because if that thing goes down and we can't get in touch with you, we try to call you, you don't answer your phone, we're sending somebody to you. Okay, so don't forget, that's a fail safe every time. You pull that thing down, we're sending someone to you. All right, so if all else fails, you can't remember anything else, and you can get to the bathroom, pull that pull cord down. And that goes for the bathrooms in the common areas around here too. Here I come again.
Before we go to Carol, I see
we should get you your own
Mr.
microphone.
Fycook right here and Joe in the back. So what Michelle just talked about, the pull stations for the bathrooms, we've had them on order for a while. So yours are coming. Yeah, yours are coming. Joe, yours is coming. All new cottages, they're coming. So yeah, just rest assured, they're coming.
So if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I really need some help, as long as I have my PERS, and I always do, I have it on the opposite side of the bed. All I need to do is, reach for it. Someone will call.
Of course,
no
yeah.
matter
So
what time, someone will call.
You could press your PERS if you need to. You can call the number if you need to. Whatever you need.
Okay.
Someone will call with the proper protocol and procedure. They call first. If it's a false alarm, you'll say, I hit it by accident, and they'll. If they don't make any contact, if they call you, you don't pick up, they come.
That's great. Okay, thank you.
And not only does it call the desk, it also alerts on their computer. So most nights there's 2 people here. A lot of nights there's 3. At a minimum, there's 2. A lot of nights there's 3. Not only does it call their desk phone and alert on the reception computer, it also calls the manager on duty phone automatically. So we all take manager on duty call. So we all take it for a week at a time. There's like 8 of us that take it. It automatically calls our phones. So what happens is we all handle it a little bit differently. If it calls me twice, I call security and say, what's going on? How come nobody's answered? So it calls us automatically as well.
Quick question, since we mentioned EMS, will they take residents to any other hospital besides Vassar or Kingston?
I can speak to that. So I know you know this. I'm on ambulance company board in Saugerties. Most of you know that. So I know a little bit more than I should about how ambulance companies work. They will take you to the nearest available hospital that is taking admissions currently, regardless of where you want to go. As long as they're currently taking admissions. They normally will not take you anywhere except Kingston, Mid-Hudson Regional, and Vassar. Sometimes they will take you to other hospitals, but very rarely now. And a lot of times now, local hospitals are on diversion because they don't have staff. So don't expect to be able to say to them, take me to Northern Dutchess or St. Luke's. So most of the time, you're either going to go to Mid-Hudson Regional, Vassar, or Kingston, and that's going to be your only choices. So just, pick your poison, I guess. They're all of them are, doing their best at this point, but you're not going to be able to pick like Northern Dutchess, definitely not St. Luke's, depending on what you're. Right. And what Courtney's saying is Vassar is a trauma hospital, so they're going to take you to Vassar, and they're also a cardiac hospital. What else? Yeah. Oh.
I read in one of the local papers that the New Paltz Rescue Squad is now taking on a larger area, the Lloyd area. As far as you know, will that affect their response to us?
It's really hard to say. So I don't want to speculate on what that's going to mean. What I will say is we are doubling down on our efforts in 2024, the first quarter, to get all of our staff mandatorily trained on the two-person chair get-up method. And once we get all of our staff trained on it, we're going to make that available to residents as well. Because we are still seeing a lot of residents having the rescue squad come to get them off the floor and not getting transported. So to the extent that we can really try to focus on having our calls be limited to people that really need to go out for emergencies, that'll be helpful and not a drain on the rescue squad. But there is a major absence of emergency services in our area. And that's a conversation for another day. So I really want to get to the expansion update. Is there anything else critical for Jason right now? All right, thanks, Jason. Okay, so you guys can stay or go. It's up to you. I want to give you guys a quick expansion update because I promised we would do it at every management Q&A in 2024. So, all right, where are we? All right, the 2 cottages that have to be completed for the on-campus expansion are going to be done in February sometime is the current expectation. They are cooking along and we just have to finish them up. And then those 2 last, the residents that are moving into those cottages will move in. We currently have 56 units on the waiting list currently of all different sizes. That was as of January 4th. Not including internal residents that are waiting to move into other size units. So those are additional to the waiting list. And that's without any active marketing. So we're not doing any active marketing beyond being basically in Hudson Valley Magazine. We're not doing events. We're not doing direct mail pieces. Obviously, Courtney and Shannon are doing, and Natalie are doing some touring and things like that, but we're not doing billboards. We're not doing, anything beyond just having some ads like on the internet and so forth, but our waiting lists continue to grow. So we are continuing to actively look at an expansion. You know that. The last time we met, we talked about the fact that the only things that the board have approved are entering into an option to do due diligence on adjacent land and explore the viability of purchasing land. That due diligence is continuing. Okay, so the research is continuing. There's a title search going on. We're testing soil. We're looking at how many units could we fit there. So that due diligence is continuing. There has not been a board meeting since we met last, so the board hasn't authorized anything further on that land. In terms of the existing campus, we are continuing with the interior designer, okay? They have given us some ideas about what types of things might make sense in terms of what amenities, additional dining options we might have and things like that. We haven't seen designs by any means about new carpet or paint colors or anything like that. That is a long way off. We haven't discussed with the Residence Council or the Design and Decor Committee or any residents at this point how residents will be involved in the process. We're not even close to that step yet. The next thing we need to do is we need to survey all the residents. Right now, phase 1 is independent living, community building only, not the hallways. This doesn't encompass apartments, cottages. We're renovating those as we go. We need to survey you all to say what is interesting to you as we talk about renovating the existing common areas of this campus. What is your wish list? Okay, you all need to have a voice. Okay, so within the next month, hopefully closer to 2 to 3 weeks, I want to get a survey out. It's going to be a basic one. All right, I want to keep it really simple. I want to talk about if you could have 3 things, what would they be? What do you not like about the existing campus? I don't know if this is exactly what it's going to be, but I want to keep it really simple. I know sometimes our surveys can get very complex. I want to try to keep this very simple because I think the more complex it gets at this phase, it's just going to make this too cumbersome, and it's not going to give the interior designers what they need to move us to the next step, because we're going to need feedback all throughout this process. The next time I attend the Residence Council meeting, I want to talk to the Residence Council about how do you envision that we start to funnel resident feedback in a more granular way. I see a large role for resident feedback in the forms of surveys and focus groups, and then I also see maybe task force feedback. We haven't talked about it at all, so that is to come. But the next step is a wide-scale survey. So start thinking about this. Do you see a focus on more art space? You know, arts and music? Do you want more fitness? And I don't want you to just think about space. I want you to think about operational stuff, programming. Okay, so you're going to be asked those questions. And it doesn't mean everything is going to happen. Acoustics. You know, I want you to really think about your experiences when you're here. It doesn't mean everything's going to go on the table, but if we don't think about those things now, we can't give it to the interior designer. Okay, so start thinking about that. And we'll get those ideas and start flowing them through to the interior design firm. Okay. And we're just going to keep working through different iterations of these things and figuring out ways that make the most sense to start involving the residents in the process, kind of like kneading dough, looping people in kind of as the process goes forward. And then eventually one person, and I don't know who it's going to be, that person is not going to be lucky, is going to be the person that picks the carpet. Like I said, I don't know who it's going to be, but they're not going to be lucky. And I think it's going to be Jason because he's untouchable around here. He can do no wrong. Oh, you too, the Brain Trust. Yeah. Yankee Blue. Anything I should add on the process? We are going to start interviewing architects pretty soon. Tom's got 3 or 4 lined up from all across the country. We are not looking at small scale architects. This is obviously, we're looking at putting together a team of designers and build eventually that will have cohesiveness both for the on-campus project and a larger expansion because there's got to be cohesion between the 2 projects. So, you know, this is a big thing that we're looking at. We have started talking about, you know, the financing. Obviously, you know, we've been looking at the numbers for almost 2 years now. So there's just a lot in the works and a lot that the board is looking at. We have a board meeting next week about this and many topics, but you know, so there's a lot in the works. Any questions at this point? Betsy, and then we'll go to Paul.
At one point you said you were hiring somebody to oversee the expansion. What's the status of that?
So we're working with a development company, which will, you know, kind of drive the bus on everything. And this is all they do is senior living development. We've seen a preliminary version of what their contract would encompass, but you mean a capital projects manager on campus. We've had the position posted for several months. We really haven't gotten any good applicants, which is a little frustrating. I was hoping that we would have seen better applicants at this point. So if you know anyone, we are looking for somebody. Tom sent me a resume today of someone that has some relevant experience, but we haven't seen anybody great yet, which is okay right now at this phase because there isn't a lot going on at this point. It will become very important probably in 4 to 6 months. So we'll keep it posted. Go ahead, Rhea.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I had asked you about the solarium in the skilled nursing. Is that from what you said will not be dealt with because you said this is IL?
No, so I mean, the whole campus is in play. Right now, the first phase is IL. And actually, Tom just met with the interior design firm last week and said they need to start getting us conceptual drawings for the health center very soon. And solarium space or recreational space with natural light is obviously necessary in both skilled and garden view. So that's should be right on the tails of the next phase. So we expect to start seeing something from them. It usually takes them 4 to 6 weeks to get us something conceptual. So, you know, they're not stopping one to start the next. You know, this is a very large outfit out of Philadelphia that we're working with. Jason?
Kitty.
Kitty?
Hi. I have a question concerning conversations that I have overheard concerning the expansion and the new health center. I've heard it stated that there will be a new PAC with seating for over 200 people, a state-of-the-art sound system. I mean, it just, rumors grow. So I'm sure you haven't even thought of that yet.
We have thought of that, and that is accurate.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I mean, in the current conceptual drawings, that will be necessary. This room is not really useful for what we're currently using it for. And one of the things that is a pervasive theme in every conversation that we've had, you know, going all the way back to almost 2 years ago now when we first hosted the developer, it is absolutely crucial to our team that every design decision that we make, both on this campus and an expansion, if we do proceed with it, is that every eventual space has a purpose that is easily identifiable so that we're not ending up with multi-purpose rooms like this. So that, you know, when we have a space that it is very clear and evident that this is what this is for. So can it be modular and can it have multiple purposes? Yes, but it also has to be able to accommodate more of our people in a way that we want and need it to. So we've already outgrown this space. And we do accommodate the things that we need to here, but this is not a performing arts center. And it's not acoustically right, and we can make modifications to do what it needs to do, but what we need to end up with needs to account for the things that the original design did not. And we really need to be thoughtful about that. And so that's what we really like about this interior design firm. And when we meet with the architects, we want that same thought process to be incorporated. We want to end up with storage solutions that make sense. And we don't want to end up with stacks of chairs in the corner. You know, it's just, they need to have purpose and be thoughtful. So you're right. We also have to think about the fact that if we're adding 75 more people, possibly, that our dining space is going to need to be bigger to accommodate 75 more people and so forth. So yes, I mean, we have to be thinking about not just the current footprint, but what do we need in 5 more years?
Vivian.
Yeah, getting back to the rug situation.
Oh,
I think
Vivian's
I'm the
gonna pick
only
the rug.
I think I'm the only one that loves the rugs.
Okay.
I'd like to make a request.
Okay.
When the time comes and the rugs are being pulled up, could I have this rug to do my whole? I'm serious. I would have it put throughout the whole apartment. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, Vivian, when I went to a conference in September, I went to a conference sometime, maybe in September, down in Orlando, and I actually asked the question, I went to an architects panel, and I told them that, you know, Woodland Pond was very interested in focusing on sustainability when we do our redesign and our expansion. We very focus on sustainability. And they said, you know, a lot of our communities are really looking at that in their designs. And I said, yeah, but what about all the stuff you're pulling out of the old communities? What are you doing with the piles of old carpet? And they said, well, we always find places for the furniture. And I said, but yeah, but what about like the tons and tons of old carpet and everything? And they kind of like put their heads down and didn't want to tell me. But now we know they've got to go to Vivian's apartment. So listen, if we can get this carpet up and intact and safely put it in your place, yeah. Yeah, it'll be Tuesday, Viv. Jason wants to put a pickleball court in here, so we can get it into your apartment by Tuesday, and then Jason will get pickleball in here. All right, so again, I want you to be thinking about, I will get some simple questions about functional changes that you would love to see made, operational things, programmatic, and space wish list type things that you'd like to see here, let's say in the next 3 to 5 years, and then thinking about if you age over the next 7 to 10 years, what would your ideal Woodland Pond community building space be like? All right, start thinking about that, talk about it over dinner, dining options. Don't just think about your dinner today. Think about like, how would you like different lunch, breakfast, grab and go, salad bar? You know, just think about different things. Don't just think about how it is now. Like, let your brain, and then we'll get it down onto paper because we got to start getting feedback. We can't get behind the 8 ball on it. Questions?
Pertain to this building as it is, or you want us to think about when you have a 1,500 seat pack? I mean, do you want that kind of idea, or do you want you know, like let's get rid of Gretchen's office and push the wall back?
No, I'm not gonna ask you to redesign the building. It's just gonna be like, if I said, would you like to have a pedicure at Woodland Pond? You're going to say yes or no. Okay. I'm not asking you for design at this point.
Okay.
It's really just going to be, have you ever thought about having a hot towel shave or something? You know, like, would you like to get your mustache waxed at Woodland Pond? You know, right now we're sort of out here. And then we're going to figure out, you know, we got to We got to get out here and then start to push it in as we go.
Michelle, this is Paul's question. He had to leave. Have you considered any other properties besides the one that the current option? Have you considered anything north of the campus?
We have considered many, many, many properties, and not only working with our own expansion committee, but we've worked with commercial brokers. We met with the Ulster County Economic Development Office. We have talked to loads of people. This is it. There is one other property within the village that is possibly on the table. The issue is, there are many issues. The economics of a project that is not adjacent to us or close to where we are completely changes what has to happen if we can't access the amenities on this campus. So having something that has access to existing sewer and water is critical, and having something that has access to the existing amenities in a way that just allows us to create basically independent living space and another small concierge, another small dining venue, a little fitness space, makes this project financially viable, whereas something that is much more than 10 or 15 minutes from here walking distance completely changes exactly what this looks like. So we have looked at, I mean, we've spent over probably 18 months looking at lots of different things in lots of different economic zones, and Kingston and Gardner and Town of Ulster and Orange County and Dutchess County. And Deborah's got a question.
Is there any thought about creating a senior daycare option for people to come here on a daycare option?
So we've talked about that extensively over the years, and it's always on the table. The economics of it are very challenging. We will always consider it. The community that most recently tried to do it in our region failed. They thought that they had the numbers to be able to sustain it economically, and they did not. So we're watching it closely. You have to have a substantial number of people from the outside community that can bring the Medicaid dollars in order to sustain it, in order to support the staffing that it requires, the staffing ratios. And right now, with the current absolute lack of certified nursing assistants, they were not able to do it. And that was Brookmead and Rhinebeck, which is a lookalike community to Woodland Pond. And the space that they spent close to $1 million to build it is sitting vacant right now. So we're watching to see what happens. And they're very close to what our community looks like, which is they thought that their private pay people were going to be able to be, you know, available there and then subsidize it with outside community, and the economics just weren't there. And that was within the last couple of years. So yeah, and it was, and what Bridget is saying is that was after an extremely lengthy licensure process with the state. So Rhea is saying that the Veterans Association will pay for veterans to attend a program, and that is accurate. It's just in our area we don't have really the programs. That was part of their that was part of their calculus, and it just, for them, it didn't pan out. Okay, any other questions on Vivian? We'll take Vivian's last question on the carpet. Tom.
I'm not going to talk about the rug.
Oh, okay.
I just want to say one thing we overlook, I haven't heard it too much mentioned in these meetings, how fortunate we are here to have Dedricks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're unbelievable. I mean, what they do for us
we appreciate. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, I agree 100%. I think Jeannie's great, and I think Dedrick's is amazing. So I think you should tell her that. And if you're, I mean, I applaud them, definitely. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you.